Hey friends, so I know your test is Monday and I wanted to make sure that I modeled some of these for you if you got them incorrect and are having trouble fixing them. So I was going to kind of walk through the lesson and do the examples with you. Only after you have done them yourselves, I will share this video. So subtracting positive rational numbers. To subtract rational numbers, you can apply the same rules you use to subtract integers. So we're looking at fractions and decimals now, but the rules for rewriting subtraction as addition with integers is the same for decimals and fractions. So remember that we keep at opposite. If I'm taking away something, I'm actually gaining the opposite. So for this first example, you keep the first number, and then if it helps you, remember circle or highlight the subtraction sign so you can see that the opposite of that positive 3.67 is a negative 3.7. Once you've rewritten them, then you're still using the same rules for adding integers. Same sign, add and keep the sign, different sign, subtract and take the sign of the large or the one with the greater absolute value. So hopefully you did not skip this slide. It was not just a video if you wanted, it was a actively learn lesson. So I actually went in and checked, so heads up. That might happen again in the future, make sure you're paying attention. Okay, so I did the first one for you on here already, but I'm gonna walk through each of the other ones. We have negative 14.8 minus a negative 5.6. All right, so like I said previously, circle that subtraction sign, it really helps. So we're going to keep the first term, the first integer, and we're going to change our minus to plus, and we're going to take the opposite of the second number. So that would be a positive 5.6. So at this point, you can really just say, who cares what it used to be? This is my new problem. Forget that it had ever been subtraction, it's addition, which should make it easier because now this is just like the last quiz you took, stuff that we've been doing for the last few weeks. So then you ask yourself, are the signs the same or different? Well, here they are different. So we are going to subtract. And looking at just the whole number part, we don't need to look at the decimals. Which one is there more of? 14 or 5? Which one's bigger? 14. So that means we have more negatives, so our answer is going to be negative. Since we're subtracting, we have to put the one with the larger absolute value on top. So whichever one we decide the sign was will actually be the one that goes on top. So 14.8, you don't need to put the signs on there anymore. We've already done all the work here. We know we're subtracting, and then we'll make our answer negative. Subtracting 5.6. Bring that decimal down. 8 minus 6 is 2. Can't take 5 from 4, so we have to borrow. And then 14 minus 5 is 9, and we said our answer was negative. All right, so let's go on to another example. Okay, so I wrote down the next one. Once again, circle that subtraction sign. So we see that we are keeping the first, changing the subtraction to addition, and the opposite would be a negative 1300ths. So are the signs the same or different? They are the same. So we are going to add, and then we keep the sign. And since they're both negative, it's going to stay negative. If you're forgetting whether to add or subtract, here's an acronym that might help. SADS. Same, add, different, subtract. But you're still going to have to remember that it's the same signs, add and keep. So same, add, keep. Different, subtract, sign of the bigger one. So this helps just with this step right here. You still have to remember whether it's going to be positive or negative. So we are adding, meaning that it does not matter which one goes on top and which one goes on the bottom. So we have 8.04. Once again, I'm not putting those signs on there. It doesn't matter. I know my answer is going to be negative. I can go and put that down there. And then 0.13. Bring my decimal down. We're adding, and you get a negative 8.17. All right, we're going to go over the last one on that slide. It is subtraction, so it needs to be rewritten. If it had a plus sign there, we would skip straight to, are they the same or different? Are we adding or subtracting? Is it positive or negative? But because it's subtraction, we have to rewrite it before we get to our adding integers rules. So keep, add, opposite. So here, the signs are different. So remember that acronym SADS, that means different, subtract. Then what's there more of? Just look at the whole number part. 2 is bigger than 1, so our answer is going to be negative. So that means that the bigger one has to go on top. Since we said our answer is negative, that means this was the bigger one. So 2.6 minus 1.4, bring down our decimal. 6 minus 4 is 2. 2 minus 1 is 1. And we have a negative 1.2. All right, so for this slide, I did not show or put a place for you to type it as addition first, but you should be doing that on paper. So this one reminded you, but just because it doesn't remind you doesn't mean you don't have to do it. So we still see subtraction, so we still need to rewrite it. Any day now. There we go. All right, so circle that subtraction. We're going to keep, add, opposite. They are both positives. They're the same. This is just a regular problem. We're not going to go through all the steps. We're just adding positive numbers. You've been doing this for years. I'm going to put a 0 there just so it's all friendly. Everyone has a partner. Drop that decimal 2, 2, 4. And it was positive, so it stays positive. Let me move that down because it didn't really look like a decimal. All right. If I'm going too fast, you can replay this and you can pause it as much as you need. All right, so the next one, circle that subtraction. Make sure you keep the first one negative. Add, opposite. So here the signs are the same. So SADS, oops. SADS, S-A, same means add. And then if we're adding, we're keeping the side, so our answer is going to be negative. So let's go ahead and line them up. We're adding, doesn't matter which one comes first. I'm just going to put this one on top. I'm just going to decide this one goes on bottom. Fill them with zeros so everybody has a partner. Drop my decimal. 0 plus 4, 4. 2 plus 0, 2. 3 plus 1, 4. And we said our answer was negative, so don't forget the sign. Because having $4.24 is not the same thing as owing $4.24. Say I already gave you feedback and I just told you which ones you got wrong and you can't figure out your mistake. Don't watch the whole video. Skip through for the ones that you know you got wrong and that you can't figure out. And then you take care of it. Okay, so subtraction, keep, add, opposite. The signs are different, SADS, different, subtract. And looking at that whole number part, there are more positives, so our answer will be positive. So that means that the positive number is going to go on top. 6.1 minus 3.22. Have to have that partner there. Bring down our decimal. I can't take 2 from nothing, so I got to borrow. 10 minus 2, 8. Can't take 2 from nothing because that's a 0 now, so I got to borrow again. Now that 0 becomes 10. 10 minus 2, 8. 5 minus 3, 2. And we said our answer was positive, so it's a positive 2 and 88 hundredths. All right, we're on letter D now. I went ahead and kept that up there because we've been using it every time. Circle the subtraction, keep, add, opposite. So the signs are both negative. That means they're the same. We're going to add, and our answer is going to be negative because we're going to keep that sign. So we're adding. Does not matter which one's on top and which one's on the bottom. Line up the decimals, fill in your zeros, bring your decimal down. 1 plus 0, 1. 3 plus 4, 7. 5 plus 3, 8. And we said our answer was negative. Last one for this little mini lesson / answer key. All right, so we have subtraction, circle it, keep, add, opposite. One is positive and one is negative. They're different, so we're going to subtract. Looking at the whole number part, there are more positives, so our answer will be positive. So let's put that bigger number on top, subtract the smaller number, bring down our decimal, 2, 1, and we said it was positive, so it's a positive 1.2.